Warning: this program may contain explicit language that may be considered offensive or inappropriate to children and some adults.
The following content is intended for mature audiences only.
Hello, and welcome to hour 10 of our 24-hour live stream. This is a live stream. It's a fundraiser for Flirting with Destiny. If you are new to Woe Nelly Media, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. We are trying to fund our first self-produced web series, which is a web series about magic. It's a web series about love, romance. It's called Flirting with Destiny. It's about this young lady who literally has like everything in her life not go right, and then her aunt decides to give her something. Everything that goes wrong in her life has to deal with people deceiving her, and her aunt gives her something to change her world. And I'm not gonna tell y'all what it is because that's for you to find out when we film it. We're trying to film it this summer, so if you would like to, I would love for you to support us by going to GoFundMe.com/F/flirtingwithdestiny and donate. Or you can just share this stream right now. You can also go to our GoFundMe and share the link there so they can go watch the interest video, read up on it, and decide if they want to help. The goal is to make $1,000 by the end of today, and the overall goal is to make $5,000. But even if you don't donate, I appreciate you hanging out with me because today's my birthday. So this is the dopest way to celebrate, and I'm so happy to be with you. So here on the panel today, we've got a few guests. We've got Julian. Why?
Oh, sorry.
Why? Why? Why do we do these things? Listen, quit
That's
it.
an introduction.
Quit it. Whatever you're doing, quit it. Okay. So here on the panel, we have Julian, who is our guest panelist from Geeking Out.
Yes.
He will also be back tonight 2 more times. He'll be on our LGBTQ plus panel. Dondre will also be there for that. And he'll also be back for our special episode of Geeking Out. It feels like we just did an episode like 2 days, like not even
yesterday.
2 days.
Well, yeah,
yesterday. It feels like yesterday.
It feels like yesterday. It was like
yeah. And so you can always find him on Geeking Out, which is every other Monday at 8 p.m. Dondre is a recurring guest on Talk It Out, and he's also going to be here one more time tonight. He's going to be leading our conversation today. And then we have Jen. Jen is a fellow RPGer. Me and her are RPG every Tuesday. I missed this week just in preparation for this, but I'm always there because it's my favorite thing to do. And me and her, I play a mage. She plays a troll. Mm-hmm. A troll for Shadowrun RPGs on Twitch on Master of Rem. So that's twitch.tv/Master of Rem. You can see this every Tuesday at 8 o'clock. But they also have a lot of great stuff on their channel, so go over there. But Jen has a business called The Geek Forge, where she creates like props, troll hats, hammers, all kinds of fun stuff. So head over there. Is it thegeekforge.com?
Thegeekforge.org or thegeekforge.etsy.com.
Okay, and you can buy things there and find out more about Jen and all the cool stuff she has going on. But right now, it's time for some motherfucking MCU theories and speculation. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand over the reins to Dondre and we'll get things started.
All right, howdy everybody. Thank you for coming in. It is going to be so dope to be here with you, Jen and Julian. But I mean, to start things off, let's talk about WandaVision. What's on everybody's mind lately? What are you guys thinking about? What's next? What's going to happen on this finale coming up? Any ideas?
Somebody from X-Men showing up. Hopefully. Period.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Period.
Super pumped about Tommy and Billy being on there because I hope that that's going to be a lead-in to Young Avengers.
Exactly.
We got Wiccan in there already, so that's what I'm hoping for. X-Men would be super cool too. Or we get multicolored Vision because we already got the white Vision. So
you mean the regular Vision, right?
Well, so there was a storyline where Vision got separated into different colors.
Mm-hmm.
And so in the last episode, when they built Vision without the
You mean
Mind
like
Stone.
green and all that other
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
Oh, so that has purpose.
It does. There is a root for that in the comics.
Yeah.
I did
They
not
could
know
be,
that.
they could actually be doing that here, you know?
Hmm.
What do you think White Vision is gonna do? What do you think that's gonna be? Clearly, there's gonna be a Vision off. Clearly, but what do you think? Do you think Vision? Okay, so if you haven't seen it, basically Vision was dead as what happened at the end of Infinity War, and now he just showed up. We recently found out that she spontaneously created Vision at the end of last episode. Literally just. Not even I guess the whole time I'm watching it, I thought that she, just reanimated his body, put him back together. To find out that she actually
Materialized him.
it's like, oh, she's super powerful. She's incredibly powerful. So it's like, okay, so then now there's two bodies of this Vision, and I want to know, is Wanda's Vision more powerful?
See, in my head,
it came from her. Go ahead.
in my head, if we're going on that concept, I mean, I'm worried about the concept of him seems to still have the abilities of the Mind Stone, like when he was waking up people with inside the hex.
Right, that's true.
But being a creation of her chaos magic, does he really have limits?
I think he's actually supposed to be more charged by her chaos magic versus because technically they took his body, they kind of took him apart to kind of figure him out, put him back together, and how do you power this without the Mind Stone now?
And they used her to power it, though.
They used her to power him now.
They did.
So now that's the thing. He's infused with chaos magic. So I suppose he is it, but it's more of that's more like the blood that pumps through his body kind of a thing. That's what charges him and keeps him going. That's not exactly the limits of his powers and abilities, because instead he retains his old abilities. He's been disassembled, reassembled, and I suppose bound back, his soul bound back there, and charged through that chaos magic.
But does he? He
doesn't have a soul. I don't even
his
think
soul
he has
came
a soul
from the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
So are we gonna say he has a soul?
Well, then here's the thing: does he have a soul? But that could be a part of that magic that she infused into him, because she imprints in there a copy of the Vision she knows.
Yes.
You get me? And then charges it with her magic. Boom! Now you have this automated new Vision, but it's gonna still have the same limits.
Well, I mean, she created two children, too. So, this is what I think. I think essentially going from what the Marvel we knew before to this Marvel now is a massive leap, because it's the only thing. It's okay. Kevin Feige has already said that Wanda is the most powerful Avenger, right?
Of course.
Now, if you think about the way that they're doing this, they've spawned Wanda from the Mind Stone, and technically now both Vision and Monica Rambeau have their powers stemming from the Mind Stone. That's what I'm waiting for, because the last we saw Monica, she got attacked by Quicksilver, but I feel like there's clearly going to be epic battles in this next episode. I want to see action from Monica. I want to see her her powers go from just these little jolts of energy we've seen to because her power in the comics is that she can not only manipulate energy, but she can even become it. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna see some her trajectory is massive, because even Captain Marvel can't become the energy, can she?
No. She absorbs it.
Yeah.
So I think, and especially the fact that Monica Rambeau is clearly beefing with Captain Marvel, I'm very excited to see what that becomes, because she's going to be Captain Marvel too.
Well, I'm expecting Spectrum. That's what I call her.
Spectrum, right. Or Photon. Right.
Yeah.
I'm expecting her to get her own series eventually, and I really want them to touch on it. I feel like
You really
at some
think they're
point
gonna
in
give her her own
time,
series?
she deserves it, and not to mention all the talks she's getting in social media. Disney has to realize people want to see this black superhero. Okay.
People do want to see
Yeah,
her.
movie at minimum, but series would be incredible.
Yeah.
I
think
think if anything, she's going to be the second Captain Marvel. My bad. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I think they're also introducing a TV series for Kamala Khan. Miss Marvel?
Miss Marvel, yeah.
So I feel like, even sadly to say this, I feel like the idea of her getting her own movie is a little big, but I feel like what they're doing with all these web series is giving themselves the opportunity to do whatever they want with it. Because, shoot, you have 9 episodes of WandaVision. Some of them were 20 minutes, other ones 35. They just have like a better range for it, and it gives you more playtime. So.
Yeah. It's also actually what Drea just said, setting her up to be like the next Captain Marvel. Like that makes sense. You know what I mean? Because this one was the one currently was more or less poorly received.
Well, people don't like
you know what I mean? Exactly.
her. That's the crazy thing. It's her. I don't know if it's the actor or the version of Captain Marvel. Because I
don't get it because
I don't think she's very personable. I don't think it's the actress. I think it's the way they wrote her character.
Really? Because I thought that she was like, she's acting exactly the way Iron Man would be acting, except she's the female version. And I think that's really the only reason why nobody likes her. Yeah, you know what I mean? And it kills me to say because like her arrogance and the whole thing, like that's Tony Stark.
I agree. Iron Man had massive amounts of personality. She doesn't. Like even in the last, when she showed up to fight Thanos, it was just a lot of this. Yeah, it was just a lot of that. There was no like, she didn't have any quips, any lines, like any, So for
maybe they didn't write her any lines.
That's my point. It's not Brie Larson's fault. It's the fault of the writers.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Well, that's also another thing because at this point they've seen her reception. They already know that it's not. They're not going to give her lines now at the end of Infinity War when nobody likes her. Like you know what I mean? They're not going to.
But in Captain Marvel 2, they have a chance to make her character more likable.
Yes.
By hopefully introducing Monica Rambeau as an older person,
but at the same time,
and then making her deal with the fact that Monica feels like she abandoned her mother when her mother needed her most.
I hope so I just kind of freshly saw this one and I like Captain Marvel and I didn't hate it. I was like, this is good. What are you talking about? I'm so entertained. Like I'm laughing the whole time. Like I thought it was good. I thought she was good. You know what I mean? I just. She had a way about her, which I understand, but like I feel like maybe that's just what people didn't like was that she was just too arrogant. She was too, I know what I'm doing here. She was too confident, and I was like, well, that's not a problem. I don't see that as a problem here, but whatever.
And if you're setting up second generation Avengers, so we've got our first 10 years and they're out. So next set of Avengers, Captain Marvel, Photon, Shuri. I would love to put Shuri in there as the Iron Man.
I have issues with Shuri and her little transphobic stuff that she put online.
Yeah.
So besides that,
I had not seen that.
I am going to research.
Yeah, go research it. I'm not gonna trash the lady, but I will say this. I think because you also have to think about Thor's doing another movie, but his movie's supposed to be introducing Jane Foster as Thor.
Yes.
And then you also have some Phase 3 lingerers like Hawkeye. You have, but a lot of these movies are introducing new people. I noticed that, like Thor's introducing Jane Foster as Thor. The Black Widow movie is clearly introducing whoever's going to replace Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow. Nobody can replace her, but whoever's going to do that. Then you have Doctor Strange. Back to WandaVision. The last episode of WandaVision is going to show why she's evil, because I heard that Wanda is going to be the villain in Multiverse of Madness. Now follow me, right? It's called Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, she's already going crazy.
And we already see that she's playing with the fabric of reality.
She's already crazy.
What creates this Multiverse of Madness if not Wanda? And I think now with the villains in Phase 4, they're going to have to bring something else. Because Thanos, it was like, okay, Thanos could end everything. So how can we match that? We have to start with making the villains people that we care about.
They did set up Kree and Skrull in the stinger of Captain Marvel.
Mm-hmm. Which I think is probably one of the big points with, I guess, bringing it back to what are people's beef with Captain Marvel in the show. Because I'm like, she left the planet to protect the universe. So, I mean, I think maybe Earth takes it personally that she didn't stay to their defense in certain moments. And I think we found Nick Fury inside that space station with all the Skrulls. That could be something that maybe.
Wait, what?
Nick Fury's in space.
Yeah.
Skrulls are replacing him and his right hand.
Was this in Captain Marvel?
I think it was the end
It's
credits
the end
scene.
of it.
Oh,
I need
yeah.
to rewatch it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think you're definitely right. Monica's gonna have a little bit of beef with her, but it seems like everybody's like, Captain Marvel. So I really want to hear them.
I haven't
throw that at
seen
us.
any of the Spider-Mans.
I haven't seen any
Spider-Man's-
of them
Because they don't put them, because Spider-Man is still actually owned by Sony. So because it's still owned by Sony, you're not going to find Spider-Man on Disney Plus. You have to pay for Spider-Man.
Netflix.
if you wanna see it. It's not on Netflix.
Yeah, Far From Home was just on Netflix.
Oh, Far From Home
Find
is.
it.
Yeah,
Prove
that
it.
one is. It is.
Hold on.
Is it?
I could swear it is.
Yes.
I could swear it is.
Yes,
Because I've been trying to find it. I'm about to watch
I
it.
saw it
I'm not
myself,
going to watch it today, but I'll
What
watch it
Netflix
tomorrow.
does is the second they're talking about something online, they'll put it back on Netflix.
No, just like low key, like boom, there's a show.
Watch
Oh,
Into
my.
the Spider-Verse. I haven't seen that one either. I'm not.
Oh,
I'm
I haven't
really
seen that
sure.
one now.
I'm
I
being
like
real
that
good.
one. That
So
one.
Everyone
bad.
says it's good. I just don't
Yeah.
care. I don't want to watch animated Spider-Man. I'm good.
Oh.
I am dead right now.
But there's a way they do the animation that's just a whole.
It's
different
so
feel.
smart.
It's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's nice.
So can we talk about Catherine Hahn as Agatha Harkness?
She
Ah,
deserves
she
an award.
kills. I love that woman. Yes.
She did the damn, like, honestly,
Yes.
my favorite
Yes.
episode of the whole series was episode 8. Like,
Mhm.
everything about episode 8. I was like, because to me, I was like, oh, we're dealing with some magic. Like, we're not dealing with like magic. We're dealing with some like, because when you look at Doctor Strange and his magic, it was a very specific type of magic. Her magic is just
Magic.
Which,
So-
like,
Yeah.
Grimoire. La 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 la.
Yes, the
I was
whole
like-
time.
Yeah.
So
The whole-
in Doctor Strange, they have a bunch of those grimoires too.
Do
Because
that.
that was I had to rewatch it over the weekend to refresh myself on it,
So in
and that
Doctor
was
Strange,
That's
they have
one
a
of my
library.
favorite ones. To be
Yeah,
honest, and I
there's a
can't
whole
remember that.
But I think with the
So
Mystic
that's why
Art,
that was a moment, because they definitely zoomed into the grimoire, and I was just like, I know
The
because I'm
Darkhold.
a magic person, but is that what it's called?
Darkhold, yeah.
What are you saying? Yeah.
probably. It's probably the Darkhold.
It's very
They're
like
like it could be another book, but it's probably the Darkhold.
so I'm hoping it's a Darkhold, so they can get that little tie into Hell and finally bring in what I want to happen, Mephisto.
Which that could be what. Okay, so whatever
Yeah, I heard-
happens on this last episode, it's gonna be epic.
Because we need to know the intentions of Agatha, first of all. She's not just doing all this because she's there for a purpose, and I feel like it's following the comics, like not to a T, but she's exactly she has Billy and Tommy at her grasp right now. If they are the demon spawn of Mephisto's soul himself, that could be really interesting.
Because there is a storyline where Wanda, she finds out her kids weren't real, and then she goes crazy. So this could be Mephisto's and motherfucking Multiverse of Badness.
Yes.
Oh my god, that's what it is. That's what it is. I'm just stamping that, so that way because y'all realize we only got 2 days till this happens. And we
Right,
know
I'm
for sure.
so ready.
Listen,
So ready. I'm going to be waking up my partner at 3 a.m. to watch it. I don't care.
The other thing to note is Agatha was Wanda's teacher in the comics.
Yes. Like, she's never exactly fully evil or good, but she's always kind of like guiding Wanda to get stronger.
Yeah, that's all.
but
That's
like
all it's about.
Scarlet Witch is never really. I wouldn't consider her evil. I consider because really for the
She
most
never was.
part,
I don't- well,
she's just loyal to her dad and her brother. That's the only time she was ever evil, when she was with Magneto. But other than that, she's always with the Avengers for the most part, and her powers just become so.
And even when she was with him, it was like she thought it was different. You know what I mean? She thought she was
No.
doing it. You know,
Well,
she wasn't
Magneto
purposely-
and his whole crew are like.
Magneto, did his thing, but she was more,
But I mean,
support
technically,
the
Magneto's
mutants,
not
you know?
evil either.
Yeah.
They just handle problems
Very
violently.
differently.
and they want all the smoke. But I guess you could argue that they're not, even though it is called the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants.
Of course. Well, you know, comics in the 80s, whatever, 60s, whenever they came out, you know, they're gonna deem it something like that, obviously. But,
right.
So
I would definitely like to hear everybody's theory on how they're going to tie in mutants, because this is the first step. We are coming into a new phase. We're getting rights to characters. How are they going to give us the X-Men? Shoot it.
So I think that it's not going to be this really complicated thing at all.
Mm-hmm.
I thought at first it was going to be some sort of Wanda-like thing where she creates mutants, which I still think may happen. But after episode 8, I don't think so, because the way that they introduced magic was with no explanation. It's just been there. It exists. We just didn't know about it for whatever reason, just because it hadn't been a story yet, right? Now, if you really dig into what's it called, the whole MCU, I'm going to talk about Jessica Jones, Luke Cage, Daredevil. All of those, if you watch those shows, which are tied into the MCU, they talk about powered people all up and down that show. Yeah. So the idea is that on a smaller scale, there are people walking around powered already. It's just not a big scale. So I think they're going to pull some, like, it's always been there. Because I was telling somebody, I was like, listen, Wanda and Pietro are the only two who didn't die because of being exposed to the Infinity Stone. Now, Wanda's excuse, which we found out in this last episode, is because she already had magic. She was a witch, and she's a Scarlet Witch, but she already had magic. Why didn't Pietro die?
He was enhanced. And I think they never gave any of these characters a name. Like, I mean, yes, they never used any titling or specification, because, like, Daredevil got acid in his face. Jessica Jones and Luke Cage were experimented on, and I guess Iron Fist is a form of magic, honestly. But they have the freedom to just be like, they have the freedom to kind of just be like, oh yeah, mutants were here all along. Because you could see that scene where, like you said, Wanda's under the bed. She's already using probability hexes. Her exposure to the Mind Stone probably just enhanced that. At first, I had the idea that maybe this field that she was holding together was going to explode and kind of just affect the world and maybe alter some people's DNA like it did Spectrum. So those people who had that gene dormant in them would finally unlock their abilities. But honestly, I think they could just easily say, we need to find more people like this. Boom. And then they're just going to go find mutants.
Well, and you have the whole registration thing from the last Avengers that hasn't really been addressed anything.
The Sokovia Accords that says any enhanced and empowered individuals have to pretty much tell the government and not do anything without the government's approval.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, I just feel like it's something that's going to be there already, and they just haven't classified it yet. Because think about this, like, powered individuals haven't been researched yet. I think what's going to happen is they're going to, just like you said, they're going to research it and realize, oh shit, some of these people have a gene. Some of them, like, were altered, like Monica, like Luke Cage, like Jessica Jones. But Jessica Jones was altered too, I think. But
hers was a complete experiment, because I think she was a regular person before it.
Right, and then so was Daredevil's, because he got exposed specifically to that chemical. So, and then I think they're gonna find, some of these people aren't experiments. Some of them are just born with these powers. They have these genes dormant. I think the more I watch it, the more I would rather that. Yeah. Because then you don't have, because any other way of introducing mutants into the MCU is gonna feel wrong,
lacking
to me.
Yeah.
If they're not already there, because then you have to explain. So this gene, so because then how are you going to explain things like, if you're going to bring mutants in, you're going to give me Apocalypse. Period.
Mm-hmm. You're also going to probably bring
explain that without
Sentinels, the mutant cure. Me personally, I would love House of M, Genosha, Kroga. So I need it to be done right.
I think it's possible, though, especially with this whole reality shifting thing. You know what you could do? It's kind of... Okay, mutants obviously are first introduced, like, I think in the 60s, right? I believe it was. Right? I guess they date further back in the later comics. But when they were first introduced, the very first timeline at least, it was, in the 60s. It took place in the 60s. And
but it didn't have to. It took place in the 60s because that's when it was written.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, obviously, that's my point. Its debut was in the 60s, and that was its original storyline was in the 60s. Now here we are, WandaVision going back to the 60s, and then now we have and introducing all these people and all these mutants, and now it's like, and that's what you were saying before, and that's kind of where that one kind of clicked. I was like, okay, maybe that's what they're doing here is also within this madness reality. They're not going to go back to the original Avengers timeline before WandaVision happened. It's going to be entirely new.
And they said in Doctor Strange that there's infinite multiverses.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? She's bringing them together, kind of a thing, into this one universe that now exists. Because if they go back to the original timeline, Vision will still be dead. All these other things, they're probably going to revive a few characters at the end of this. I feel like that's where
I will say that too. I think that because of the fact that this is supposed to be the only season of WandaVision, I don't think the ending is gonna have a nice little bow.
It isn't.
I think it's gonna I think it's gonna be.
It's gonna go dark. I feel it.
I think there's gonna be a door that's not opened. It's gonna be broken off the hinges. That's how I feel about the end of WandaVision, because you're not planning to continue it, so literally anything can happen. I don't think they're gonna kill Wanda. Clearly, they're not gonna kill her because she's gonna be in Doctor Strange. But I love the whole reveal of you're the Scarlet Witch, because it's funny because they teased it, right? Because earlier in the season, dude was like, wait, she doesn't have one of those weird names like everybody else?
Yeah.
And I was just like, yes, she does. And I was like, but because they said that, I was like, they addressed it, which means now it has to be a thing where they're going to give her, how are they going to give her that name and why? And then I did my own research and found out the Scarlet Witch is something that is hereditary, for one. So that means one of her relatives was also the Scarlet Witch. And so I think, dude, I'm just like, yo, y'all did that last episode to me meant that anything's possible. To me, last episode basically told me Pietro's a mutant. Period. He was a mutant. And Wanda is a mutant witch. Right, and then she is how, and so this is what I want to know in the future, far future. So I saw this post that said who would win in a fight, Jean or Scarlet Witch?
A Scarlet Witch.
Now in the comics, the comics actually said that the only thing the Phoenix Force is afraid of is the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
What?
Well, you can alter reality to get the result you want.
Because I think what I saw earlier was many of these things. I think I saw Batman with prep time versus Scarlet Witch, and I think they made me cringe so
Batman
hard.
with prep time versus Scarlet Witch.
It was no, but
she would have prep time too.
Prep time. It was prep time for him for anything. It doesn't matter whether who he needs prep time.
That's automatically Scarlet, because if he got prep time, so does she, right? And all the prep time she needs.
Thank you. I'm like, to the extent of her powers, even though sometimes she doesn't know them or control them, she just has to think, Batman's dead. Oh,
shit. Oops.
What happened?
Right.
So
it depends on whether or not Wanda could resist Jean's mind control. But could Jean resist Wanda's mind control? Yeah. Wanda is literally has a whole town of people operating on her time when she ain't even thinking about it.
So I do know Jean is Omega level on the psychic tip, but I think if Wanda's focusing on one person, she's just as strong.
Or stronger. Fight. I just hope we get to see that fight on film. Please.
So, other thing, Agatha is also a Fantastic Four villain.
Yes.
Really?
Mm-hmm. In the comics, she is.
Ooh.
I forgot about that. Oh. I love Fantastic Four.
Also, Storm is on the Fantastic Four at one point.
Mm-hmm.
And I found out that Storm, first of all, Storm is so much more epic than I knew she was. not only is she all the thing, like I always knew she was epic, but then she has the ability to like contain the force of an atomic bomb on her own. And she has high potential for magic so much that she's a candidate for Sorceress Supreme. Excuse me? So, and she can pick up I can't pronounce it. Mohilner. She can pick him up.
Yeah.
Dude. So I just feel like these geeks, because that's what they are, these people doing this, they're geeks as hell, right? I feel like these geeks better go fucking ham in Phase 4. Like, y'all got all these TV shows, y'all got all these movies, y'all better just go berserk, please. Go.
Phase. This is the tip of the iceberg, and we're getting what? Hawkeye and Captain Falcon next. What's after that? Miss Marvel.
Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the next TV show. But you also have Loki, Ironheart, Miss Marvel. You have the Eternals movie, Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, Spider-Man, Black Widow. Dude.
I'm excited for Multiverse of Madness. I love
Blade.
Yes, Blade.
Somebody said Blade's going to be the reveal at the end of WandaVision. I hope not. No, Flex. I'm not. That's just not what I need from. I'm excited about Blade, but that's not what I need here.
I don't want to see Blade until Morbius comes out and bites him. Personally,
but they're saying that Morbius is going to be introduced through this somehow, and I'm just like,
I think if you just take the simple route, go with Mephisto, because I think they said only one more cast member hasn't been revealed yet. Go with Mephisto. Is involved with all these characters. He brings back Ghost Rider for one. Like, he could, with Baron Mordo, he could try and bring back Dormammu. Like, there is so much there.
It opens a lot of doors, and I think it makes the most sense. And this is why I actually do want to say it might be Mephisto, because I think what they've done this entire WandaVision time is just give us exactly what we fucking want.
Yeah,
every step of the way, and in the best. But they did it like. Who didn't know when as soon as she said my name is Agnes, Agatha Harkness, Agnes, okay, great. But still, even though we knew it was her the whole time, when it was revealed it was her, we were still like, yes. We knew.
We had debates in my house about whether Agnes was Agatha or not. We're like, but like it's close. But would they? But why are the names so close? That seems
to me.
Too
it
obvious.
wasn't in the names. It was their relationship. How she was always there to help her fix every little problem. I was like, yo, that's
there was
Agatha
some manipulation there.
Yeah.
Now the only thing that threw me off was that she's not like incredibly old, but it makes sense because she doesn't age. Right? These witches, these people who are like have all this magic. None of them really age, like Thor, like all these people who live thousands of years. So I like that they didn't make her age. I love her little backstory that we got to like really feel for her and be like, oh my gosh, she had to kill her mama.
I didn't feel it all.
I felt so bad because it's like she's looking at her like, Mom. She said, Mother. And
it wasn't intentional, but I feel like she's void of certain emotion.
No, but I think that's the point. She showed a little bit there, and that's where it's like, oh, okay.
Because just like when she kind of like sarcastically shed a tear in that moment with Wanda, I guess. But I feel with me, when you were introduced to that moment, they were like, oh, you've tampered with the forbidden dark magics. I think you can also see that her magic, in a way, is power hungry, and she's not in full control of it. And I think that's another reason why she's also kind of trying to maintain the Scarlet Witch, because she wants that power for herself.
I disagree. I think it is a kindred spirit thing, because what she said was, and I think she's being very sincere when she said, I don't know how to control it. Help me, teach me how to control it. It's not my fault. Which is very obvious because all 6 of them women said, full force. Oh no, this is bad. This is not what we expected. And even her mother, who clearly was the head, was like, all right. And then she's just like, okay, guess you too. And so then she's left without, her family. And so at the end of the day, it's like, okay, then she looks at Wanda and she's like, I'm going to give you, I think this is why I think that the writers put that in there for a reason. And I think they put that in there to show that this reason why this witch is going to be a support, because she sees in her this kindred spirit, and she's going to give Wanda what she never got. which was someone to really help her, teach her how to do these things. Because even in the comics, whether villain or not, she's always there for Wanda. Her and her mother, Agatha and Wanda's actual mother, actually come back from the dead to help her fight somebody later in the series. And not in WandaVision, but in the comics. So I think it's very important that you see because Marvel's very good about making sure you see the human qualities in all of these characters.
Well, and they definitely aren't wasting anything. Like the writing and like set dressing and all that sort of stuff. They're being very clever about it.
Yeah. Everything's very planned out.
Everything's on purpose, for sure.
Exactly. Because you know what? For me, what I do is I watch the breakdowns by New Rockstars, and they definitely show how like every little thing has some big like advantage or connection. Even like the generations that she goes through for her sitcoms, they also align with the timeline of the X-Men reboots. Each of them go through the 60s, 70s, 80s to the 90s in Dark Phoenix. So
I didn't even put that together.
Yeah,
it's a lot. There's so many little Easter eggs in this show, and I think I quiver a little bit.
I know. They're, well, that's the thing. I think. Well, that's that's one of the points that I have seen made, at least when I hear them talking about like the Marvel universe and expanding it and things. I think it was like years back, before like phase 2 and 3 like started coming out. It was like right after phase 1, something like that. But they were like, oh, there's so many things to choose from. And, that was like one of the big points they were making. They're like, we want to open up this universe because we have so much material to go with. And it's like, you do. It's like, you just pick and choose here and there, because we've had all these storylines for forever. So it's nice to see them, like, opening it up. And that's the point. There's all these little Easter eggs that it's like, oh, we can lead anywhere from here. And I think that's the point, yeah.
So here is something else that I picked up from Doctor Strange, that they made a comment that they pull magic from other dimensions.
Yes.
Like they're pulling power from other dimensions to make magic.
Right.
So leading into Doctor Strange 2 and with Wanda, where is she getting her power from?
Right.
Is that something that's within her, or is she actually pulling from another source?
Well, I think that's the thing. Most people who use magic are more like they channel magic through them versus actually it being.
But magic always comes from some form of
it comes from
equilibrium exchange sometimes, which is why sometimes you require like a strand of their hair to like locate them or something like that. So it's very untold. I want to look up chaos magic specifically because I feel like
it's interesting because chaos magic is very commonly discussed across all genres of like supernatural sci-fi. Like you hear chaos magic a lot. Now I will say this: Marvel is one of the few, Marvel and like DC, one of the few like worlds I know of that actually crosses science and magic commonly.
And they do it in a way that I'm fine with, though.
Well, I mean, it makes, if you really think about it, if they both exist, they both exist. Like, it's not like one or the other. And mostly, like, because in Star Wars, you would never see, like, a witch. You would just see, like, the Force is the closest thing to magic, but they try to explain it through science. Right. So, I really like the fact that there's this magic in this magical world, but it's just magic. It doesn't have to be explained like the science and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I hope they go deeper into it. When Lance says this right here, he says, Agnes pleaded for her life. I think in that time, another being took her up on that offer. She said, help me, teach me, use me. That's why she was surprised when the magic started absorbing her coven's power. I disagree and I agree. I get where you're playing at, but that's some the craft type shit, okay? That's some real dark, you know what I'm saying, type. So, and I don't think they're gonna go that far with it because I think they still have to make it make sense.
No, but it could because
that's why I said I agree and I disagree because I wouldn't be shocked if they did it. I just don't think they are gonna do it like that.
Unless it was Mephisto.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we are talking about how someone is kind of Agatha's like working for someone. Maybe she's not exactly. Maybe she's just unleashed them unknowingly. You get me?
Yeah.
And then now
because she's messing with dark magic.
Exactly. Exactly. And like this is the source of her power. Technically, is this person who's providing it for her, letting her channel it through her.
Because I'm sure like the power could come from, let's say, hell or the dark dimension as well.
Yeah, or whatever. He's teaching her to access that exact same power. So you know what I mean? So she finds him, that's her guiding character now. You get me? So it's like without her actually knowing who that possibly is. So it's kind of like unleashing this force that perhaps that's not really what she was,
I'm sorry. I have a question. Can I ask a question, Dondre?
Shoot it.
So, who do y'all think the big bad of the next phase is going to be?
Thank you. So that's why I want it to be Mephisto. I mean,
I think he's going to be the big bad.
Yeah, I think like by phase 5, 6, they're actually going to meet him in full fledged, and it's like they're going to have those sorcerers to take him down. Yeah. Wanda's going to have some sense of her powers by then because of Agatha. There's going to be this turn of events. Like, I need that. I don't think he needs to come out like doing all this nonsense next episode, but I do want him introduced and then meddling in like the after credits scene.
Kind of like they gave you a teaser of Thanos in the end of Avengers.
Yeah.
I can take it. And Marvel loves to like put shit right in your face until and you not realize it until later. So I would love if that it is Mephisto's behind this, but I actually don't want to know right now. I don't want to know right now. I don't want to know until it's until it's too late.
Yeah.
But I can agree because think about the stuff they're introducing. They're doing the Wanda. They're doing the Blade. They're doing the Eternals. They're doing a lot of stuff, which I could actually foresee it just going darker because it has to be something on par with Thanos. Like we have to, because you came out the gate with like a super intense villain, so you got to keep up with that. Yeah. I actually think at some point, the Phoenix is going to be a main villain.
Yeah.
There's so much.
The reason I think the Phoenix is going to be a main villain is because, first of all, when Marvel does Phoenix, they're going to do it right. Because they've been done so many times. And I feel like that's the only way to do it right is to make it that epic of a situation where it takes the whole fucking MCU to fix it. But I think those are the kind of things we're in for now is like these big villains are going to be like, the stakes are going to be higher somehow. Who's higher than the devil? You know what I'm saying? Stakes wise. And then, you have Phoenix being not only is this like a universe destroying force, but it's also our friend. And by then, hopefully we'll have like a really great connection with the X-Men and it won't be just like a movie.
I think there's still a possibility for Skrull invasion.
And
drop
would love
that
to see the Skrull go
before
back.
you get to Mephisto and get into that Super Skrull and get into that Kree conflict.
Yeah, because they're not going to just introduce them for nothing,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have superpower friends fighting superpower friends because they're not actually who they appear to be. And then you can have your Iron Man and Captain America.
This will give you another Civil War. Yeah.
Right. Skrull?
Skrull are an alien race. They normally have the power to shapeshift. The Super Skrull was a villain who actually ended up stealing the powers of the Fantastic Four.
Which then brings in...
Stealing or mimicking?
As well.
I think he stole them. I mean, he does shapeshift into but I think he actually stole their powers. They still have them, but he mimics them all.
They're coming too, by the way.
Yeah, so I'm like...
So that makes sense, yeah, that makes sense.
Agatha is going to be like, hey, Reed, what's up?
That actually just, the fact that you just said that she's a villain in the Fantastic Four made me really excited, because I was like, now that's a movie right there.
There's going to be some meddling along the timeline.
Here we are. Oh, man, this is
and Hulkling is a Skrull, too.
Yeah. Hulkling isn't that Wiccan's lover?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a Skrull. He's half part Skrull, right?
They're running the universe in the comics right now.
Oh my god,
dude!
I love Wiccan. I have always loved
Wiccan. These nerds
Wiccan.
are about to go fucking ham on us. We are not gonna know how to we're not gonna know how to deal with ourselves. We're gonna get spoiled by MCU. I'm sorry, I can feel it. They're about to spoil the shit out of us.
Can they hire me?
Please, I'll be your test viewer, writer, whatever you need. I'll get your coffee, okay?
Anything. Please. Just put me in the studio.
Right.
And I also, I forgot what I was about to say. It happens.
I do that all the time.
I hate that.
Honestly, though, it actually seems like even if they're not going to really pursue all of these story arcs, I think that what they're doing is at least setting up the opportunity to in the future. Because expanding all these universes, obviously there's only so many videos, so many movies they can put out at a time, so much content they can really do at any one time. I guess they can have series now. I guess that is expanding as time now. I guess, but like there's only so many things that they can do at any one time. So they're leaving all these kind of Easter eggs so that they can always kind of go back to them if they want to. I feel like because we're seeing a lot of stuff like here. It's great. It's great. There's a lot of Easter eggs that they're giving us, which is nice.
You also think about I'm really digging the Mephisto's thing. They're actually doing a whole series about Loki.
Yeah, and he's like going through the time stream and the multiverse too. So
yeah, it's really obvious. They literally put it right in front of our face and be like, "Y'all still can't. Y'all still don't know."
Right, because everyone's timeline is still kind of everyone's story arc is still it's still intact. It's still interconnecting in some way, and it's just like okay, they're weaving the whole actual MCU universe together. So it's nice. It's cool to see.
And WandaVision is technically set in 2023 because it's 5 years after.
Yeah.
So there's a whole 5 years of story that we can fill in there about when all these people were gone.
Honestly, whoever's doing their story planning, their universe planning, they're mad geeks. There's like I know that there's like there's a wall. That's what I'm saying. There's a boardroom, and there's like it's every single like character,
exactly in there.
Exactly, like hardcore. It's like literally like fucking. Sorry,
oh my god, they're probably like the order.
They're all there like hoodie and like hoods and stuff. Oh my god, it's
like come to a consensus and everything.
It's unreal. It has to be unreal because the way that they're all connecting everything at this point, you know what I mean? That there are hardcore fanatics in their room, So that room has to be amazing. Like has to be so cool.
So I hate to do it, but we are at that time. I know! This is so fun. So we're going to our next segment of our 24-hour live stream. Oh, this was a blast. I want to thank Julian from Geeking Out. I want to thank Don from Talk It Out and from the internet. I want to thank Jen from the Geek Forge and also Master of Rem RPGs every Tuesday night at 8. And I want to say thank you to everyone watching. Please, if you haven't had a chance yet, or if you get a chance today, head over to gofundme.com/f/flirtingwdestiny. Hook us up with some funds, or share the video, or share the link there so that people can learn about the process and the product. and the project, and help us so that we can self-produce this film. We're trying to film this May. The goal is to make $1,000 today. And then over the length of the fundraiser to make $5,000, that'll help with like sound, light equipment, rental spaces, feeding the crew and the cast and all the other fun stuff. Hopefully we can get some, now the whole point is it's kind of like a magical Sex in the City. So all the women have to be like dressed to the nine. So it'll be going towards some fashions as well. So we're going to leave you all with a little video before we go into the next stream. So let's say bye to everybody on the stream. Thank you.
Bye.
If you're watching on Twitch, just stay tuned and you'll go to the next stream. If you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, you're going to have to find the next video. Facebook, I'll post it immediately. On YouTube, you just go from here to the stream. We're going to be reviewing 2 movies in the next segment. We're going to be reviewing Malcolm and Marie. And then we're going to be reviewing a live stage version of Much Ado About Nothing with Danielle Brooks. It was so dope. So hang out with us for that. Otherwise, I will see you next hour, and I will see some of y'all later today, and I'll see you next Tuesday, okay? I love you guys.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm here today to ask you a question. Are you tired of the same old shows and by the same old people?
Hey.
Oh, wait.
Thank you.
You are? Okay, great. Then this is definitely for you.
Let's get up close and personal with the cast and creative team behind Woe Nelly Media's first ever
Everybody's been present. For the most part, we've had like a few absences.
Woe Nelly Media, yes. It's going to be doing a new series, Flirting with Destiny. That's not going to be the theme song. But...
Flirting with Destiny. No.
Flirting with Destiny. Yeah.
And no, that's not the theme song either.
But what is going to be the theme is magic, and tons of it.
Flirting with Destiny is a show about friendship, about the trials and tribulations of dating and trying to make it in this crazy world while still holding on to your close friends.
It's literally stories about my friends and I, which is hilarious.
It is where sci-fi meets situationships.
Destiny, who's the protagonist, she pretty much is the person in her family's life that everybody depends on to be straight away, but you know, she's young, so of course she doesn't have everything figured out.
She's trying to understand her place in this world, and she's trying to figure out how to be happy, despite everybody's attempts to tell her otherwise.
My character is Destiny. She really is this confident woman who just keeps getting thrown these different hurdles, and she's hilarious in the way that she thinks and handles these situations.
As much as she tries to juggle everything, things spiral out of control.
Be it her brother who's imprisoned, an ex who screwed her over, or even her roommate who's trying to leave her in the dust.
Essentially, she goes to her aunt, Portia, and she talks to her about all these things going on in life, and Portia gives her a gift. And this gift changes Destiny's life.
The magic in relationships meet. Now, we know there's magic in relationships, but that's a whole nother story.
Destiny will be living her day-to-day life as magic invades her space and decides to take over her, pretty much normal world.
There are also her two best friends, Quanisha and Michelle. They are respectively, her anchor.
I play Quan or Quanisha. She is like the ride or die friend. She's the one who always has your back, the one who's not afraid to jump in there and, start a fight for her friend.
Quanisha is more, aloof and drifty, kind of a dreamer.
I'm just gonna record. Okay, Quanisha.
Michelle is much more like, the boss of the group.
So my character's literally me. I feel like I'm the type A person. Like, Destiny! Sorry. Silence your phones. Let's keep it quiet on set, please. But I'm also taking a moment to be loyal with my friends and making sure that whatever it takes to keep them happy, it gets done.
So I took a lot of my inspiration from the actual ladies and made them a little larger than life.
Jerry A, our creator, he's kind of just created our characters based on ourselves, which is cool, but they're slightly different, and just the way that we approach life is different.
We are all real life friends, so I really think that chemistry is going to come across in the show.
These three friends and their lives, dating in the city while also struggling to find themselves as adults, pave their own paths in their career. I gave it a magical twist, which, you have to watch to find out about. When I sat down and wrote the script, it was just an exercise for me at first. And then as it continued, as I went further along in the process, I got really inspired by it. I started seeing other episodes into the future. I started seeing all this potential in this thing that was just going to be one script. And then after a while, I'm sitting on this script and I said, we can do this. We can make this script. We can film this. I have this friend who has equipment. I know this friend who's directed things. I know these friends who are actors. And it just, after a while, it just started to make sense.
I think it's really different. I really love the script.
I've already read the script for the first episode. I'm not giving away anything.
It was lighthearted and it was relatable.
Normally a web series is going to be about, 5-10 minutes. But this is a full half-hour pilot, and it's being shot, and that's a really big deal.
It was hilarious. I really could see myself in the story, aside from being just an actor in it.
Funny. It's legitimately funny. I enjoyed it.
I think it's just a really good feel-good comedy that still has some drama elements in it as well.
When I first wrote the script, it was terrifying. I don't usually write pieces like this. I usually write big epic sagas with a lot of fighting and action scenes. This is something that's more young, hip, funny, dialogue heavy with a magical twist. We don't really see this kind of content centered around POC writers, characters, and it's really dope to be a part of this process and to be creating this work that I want to see and that hopefully other people will want to see as well.
It's honestly a really fun chance for us to get together. So not only are we hanging out, but we're working together too. So that's quite a blessing.
What I'm most excited about, honestly, I'm really excited to see the work of the team that we've assembled.
I'm sorry, I didn't tell y'all what part I'm playing any of this, okay? My bad, y'all. I'm sorry. I will be directing. That's right, she's directing, okay? I'm just kidding.
Currently in grad school for TV writing, and this is a fun opportunity to kind of take what I've learned and transfer it over to somebody else's inspirational work.
I am the DP on the project, the director of photography, and I'm excited to get this out to you guys.
It'll just be interesting to see how all of our talents mesh and how we work together. And I think in a very, very positive way, we'll challenge each other in a way that'll make us bring out the best in each other.
I'm really excited to be a part of Woe Nelly Media's very first self-produced project.
I'm so excited to be on board. Like, I think it's such a big step for a production company, especially a newer one, to produce your own project.
I'm all about, creating your own content, and if it can be based loosely on things that actually happen to you, awesome. That's where these stories come from.
I think we'll all learn a lot while working with each other, and I think it'll be an absolute blast.
And there was fear, that voice in your head that's like, oh no, it's too big of a project, and it won't be good enough, and all that other stuff. And then after a while, you realize that voice is never gonna go away. Never gonna go away. It's only gonna get louder if you feed into it, The only way to push past that is to literally just push past it. Everybody had to take a first step. Some of the people who inspire me are Quentin Tarantino, Spike Lee, Tyler Perry. They put a lot of value in their own beliefs and they put their own efforts behind it. And of course, there are people that came to support them, their friends and family. I couldn't do any of this without my friends and family. And that's what Flirting with Destiny did for me in writing that and realizing this is a thing I want to do. And this is just the first in many projects that we've discussed.
So if you're a sci-fi fan, this show will definitely be up your alley. But we need just a little bit of help from you guys.
What would the world be without art? We're all sitting here in quarantine. We all want something and need something to look forward to, something to enjoy, something to be a part of. And this is something that you could be a part of. You could help make this a reality. And why wouldn't you want to support that?
It's also Black and Asian females in this story. So finally we have some more colored people coming up in narratives. Let's support that.
People should support because you should support artists. It's far too frequent that people have ideas and they want to do something productive with them, but they're told that because you're not a big deal, you're not worth it. And I'm a big believer that mindset should change. I think that we all should pay it forward, especially people that came from the arts. We should be supporting each other.
It has so much heart, and a lot of the people in the process have been working so hard, and I think a lot of people will be able to relate to the message of the first episode and the series to come.
So I hope that you support us, that you'll help us raise this money so that we can pay for things like camera equipment, sound equipment, paying extras, paying actors, editing, special effects. There's a little special effects in there, The money will go towards things like that. And of course, all the unforeseeable things that will happen between now and us actually filming.
We're looking for donations. We're looking for support. We're looking for love.
Any little bit helps. Any little bit helps, and any little bit is appreciated because your hard-earned money, we're not taking that lightly.
We need your support, whether that's financially, whether that's sharing the news of the project to get it out to people.
It means a lot for you to give at all, because you don't have to. And eventually, we will be presenting to you Woe Nelly Media's very first self-produced project, a web series called Flirting with Destiny.
So here we are, so excited. Great.
I